Welcome to Turn Writing Fear Around podcast, simple methods to overcome fear and start writing again. I'm Elise Hittinger. I'm your host for your journey to courage. This is episode 2, easy fixes for fear. So the first thing I want to talk about is have a plan. For me, I had a horse rear and flip over backwards on me. And that trigger now is every time a horse was raising its head, I was jumping off. I was terrified it was going to flip over backwards on me. So I had to go back to the source. The trigger for me was the horse lifting its head. And I had to rewire that. I had to make a plan for, okay, when the horse lifts its head, what am I going to do? I'm not going to jump off. That horse is probably not going to flip over on me. Out of the thousands of times I've ridden and a horse has lifted its head, only once. And it was because of being bit by a black widow spider. So it was a freak accident. And I'm going to talk more about that later because I could have prevented it. But for now, have a plan. So what I did was every time a horse lifted its head, I sat up taller and I thought, wow, we're excited to go for a ride. Let's do this together. And I would go back to the breathing exercises I talked about because that takes the mind chatter out of it. And so a horse would lift its head. Wow, I'm excited to go riding together. And I'd go back to the breathing exercises. And it took some practice. I practiced not being on the horse, and then I practiced on the horse. So, whatever that trigger is for you, figure out what that trigger is for the anxiety and put a plan in place. Decide what you're going to do to shift your mind so that you're actually not reacting to the trigger. And you're only going to react if it's something that you need to react to. So, first thing, put a plan in place. Second thing is tools. I love tools. So, what I also did is I got a neck strap to put around my horse's neck. So, when a horse puts its head up, I can grab the strap. And I actually got a type of strap that I can actually hold while I'm riding with the reins as well. So it works great because now that gives me a safety net. Think about a trapeze artist and they're up there swinging in the heights. They have a safety net below them. And that safety net allows you to think because now you have something to back you up. There's other tools too. Like I've heard of bucking rolls that you can put on a Western saddle that help your knees stay in place. So if one of your fears and one of your triggers is bucking, maybe try out some bucking rolls. Maybe see if that helps you feel more secure in the saddle. It's just really important that you find tools that help you. Now, the other tool that helps me a lot, and I hate to admit this, but I use CBD. And I only use it for a little while when I haven't been riding, like during the winter and then coming into spring. And it just takes the edge off a little bit and it keeps me from getting the shakes. Because once I've got the shakes, that's not fair to the horse. And the shakiness, it it disturbs all of me. So I have found that CBD takes the edge off. It keeps the shakes away, and yet it still keeps me mentally there. So I found a good CBD, and it's even one I can use on the horses. So when the horses are a little upset, or like 4th of July, if I think the horses are going to be bothered by fireworks, I give them a little of the CBD too. Most CBD is not good for your horses, though. So I worked with a vet to find a good CBD. So think about tools. Whatever the tools are for you that will help with your trigger, invest in some tools. And the third thing I want to talk about is, like I was talking about that safety net, get some safety equipment. I ride in a life jacket off my Sea-Doo. I tried a horse vest. I tried an air vest, and they just were not comfortable for me. They were actually adding to my anxiety. So I've been riding in my life vest off my Sea-Doo. And while I don't recommend this, it's not a safety equipment for the horses. It is a safety equipment for my fear and anxiety. It just lets me feel a little bit more protected. And so, helmet, safety vest, those are the two things that I have gone to for me to feel a little safer with a safety net when I ride. So, whatever it is for you, come up with a plan, get some tools, and put in a safety net, whatever that looks like for you. If you've enjoyed this, please think about getting my book. I'll put a link in the description. It has my full process for how I went from my accident all the way back to riding again and enjoying riding again. It's called Rise from Fear to Courage, and I'll put a link in the description. See you guys later.